listening to the Metal Moose.
Welcome to Soundcheck, coming to you from the Moose Pit here in Oklahoma City, where it is like hotter than the 8th layer of hell. My name is Moose. If you're not familiar with me, I am the host of Soundcheck and Metal Moose Radio, worldwide podcast from, all over the world. iTunes, iHeartRadio, YouTube, that kind of stuff. So this is a custom sound check. This is a show that's made just for the band. Now, the band's going to get to decide whether or not they want this to be released as a podcast or not. And I guess that really depends on if the review is good or not. So for those of you curious, I wrote for Pit Magazine. I wrote for the Metal Observer. I wrote for Heaven's Metal. I started out in this, quote, biz by doing reviews. That's what I did. And when I started Soundcheck in 2017, I started Metal Moose in 2014. But in 2017, when I started Soundcheck, I was so tired of having people ask me, hey, man, what do you think about the music? Because I want to know. And I always used to say, what I think really isn't that important. It's about what the fans think. And so I just got tired of hearing it. So you know what? Damn it, I'm going to tell you what I think. And like I said, this is it harkens back to the days of Metal Shop. And those people out there who've never heard of Metal Shop, back in the 80s and 90s, there was a show called Metal Shop with a guy named Redbeard who did kind of the same thing. He would play cuts from the records and talk to the bands and yada, yada, yada. But I am not really an interview guy. It's just not my forte. I like to listen to music and review music, and it's just not my deal to do interviews. So this is kind of like my version of Metal Shop, the only show with teeth. That's what it was, and I loved it. I listened to it a lot, but this was kind of my idea to have bands send in their albums for review. Now, I get 100 bands a week that send in their music that want to be on Soundcheck, and that's cool. Soundcheck, you get one song, and I review it, and I do my whole taco thing, and my, whether I would wear your shirt or not, because that's a big deal, because if you suck, I'm not wearing your shirt. And I thought, let's do the whole album. Let's people have, let's have the chance to do the entire record, and that's what this is. And I'm going to tell you right now, these guys wanted me to do the whole album, so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do a song by song review, and then at the end of it, we'll get together and wrap it up, because a whole album is an art. It's something that I don't know that's still done anymore. And so we're going to find out if this band is good at a single song, because like I've said it before, there are a lot of really poor albums with one good song, and then there's a lot of really good records with a bad song on it. So it can go either way, and that's an important deal. So we're going to find out as it is a package. So the record and its Soundcheck, we're going to do it, like I said, in my style. That's the way I do. Because, we'll talk about tacos and Cheeto dust and all that fun stuff. And I want you guys to enjoy the show. If you have comments or anything like that, you can always text them in on the text line, which is open 24/7, 365, 424-666-7356 is the text line. So we're going to kick things off here with Gross Reality and see what they got to bring to the table. This is Moose. We're about to get on the loose. It's not a cliche at all. At all. Soundcheck. You
are listening to the Metal Moose. are listening to the Metal Moose.
All right, so real quickly, I don't think I brought this up in the opening monologue. I don't know anything about this band, Gross Reality. I don't know, prior to hearing that first song there, I'm hearing all of these songs for the very first time. So I have no agenda. I don't know them. I don't even know where they're from. I didn't know what style of music they were. So I do this just like I do Soundcheck. Never heard the song, so I don't have any, biased feelings, or I haven't gotten used to it, because sometimes a really bad song will stick in your craw, you know what I mean? And you're like, okay, I finally like it. Jesus, leave me alone. So I haven't listened to any of this. So when I give my reviews on Soundcheck and when I do this custom stuff, I'm going to do it the same way. I'm going to hear it for the very first time. Really shocked. I didn't think with a name like Gross Reality this was going to be traditional Maiden influenced kind of power metal, and it wasn't. Power metal is really tough for me because there's I'm a Viking, or I'm a knight and I ride on a horse and I kill people around castles, power metal, and then there's the Iron Maiden-esque kind of gallopy, and this whole thing isn't about comparing this to another band. It's dangerous in this day and age, I think, to make a good power metal record, because the the pool is huge of bands that have made power metal records, and really damn good ones. You listen to like Legacy of Kings by Hammerfall, it's almost untouchable. And then you get the whole symphonic power field. I mean, there's a bunch going on, but I'm really impressed. One of the things you usually get with power metal is really good guitar playing and nice production, and vocals are usually the strong point. So we're going to continue on with Event Horizon, the next tune. Super impressed by that first song. We'll see what happens here, because it's about the package itself, not about one song. We'll get into a group thing, a group of the songs, the album review at the end. So we're just going song by song. That first cut, really good, kicked off the album with the serious attitude. The second song usually sets the tone. We'll see what they got here with Event Horizon. It's Moose, and get ready for that group thing. You know what I'm saying? Here we go.
Hello there, grind children. This is the Grind Mother, and you are listening to the Metal Moose Show.
So Event Horizon there from Gross Reality. This is Moose coming to you from the Moose Pit here in Oklahoma City, doing the custom soundcheck thing for Gross Reality. So listen, one of the things is I think is a slippery slope when you're a band as talented as this, and you can take this from any band that you want to. Metallica, Rush, Dream Theater. You can even go back to, like King Crimson or Bebop Deluxe, who used to go off on some crazy tangents. I think that sometimes you have to be careful about trying to fit too much into a song where it takes away from the song itself. Like, I think that was a decent tune. There was so much amazing stuff around the center of the song that I feel like the main core of the song got a little lost in the don't get me wrong, it wasn't like a shred fest, and it wasn't like pointless. It was really well done. Different flavors and texturing and things like that. I like them, but I almost kind of want to cut that song down to like radio edit 4 minutes so I can hear the guts of the tune, you know what I mean? So I liked it. I don't want to bring any negative light on it because it was really good. I just it's kind of everything you want in a progressive power kind of deal. Lots of flashy, lots of fun textures, a lot of amazing stuff going on. But I always, until the end of time, will say that the song itself is the most important part of. That's why I think Dream Theater and Rush and King Crimson and those kind of bands. Even like I said, Metallica on Justice, which is such a progressive record that nobody wants to call progressive, but it is. That song is always a key. So it was really good. I would like to hear more of the tune itself as opposed to the instrumental gymnastics that were going on. But I love instrumental gymnastics. Don't get me wrong. We'll try with this one on 0 Day on the custom soundcheck right here from Oklahoma City and Soundcheck.
John from Doghouse Swine out of New Jersey, and you're listening to Metal Moose Radio. Love you guys, man.
Now, see, here's the deal about that, because you could easily go back and say, well, he just said you got to be careful about too much, instrumental gymnastics. And, you could say, well, you got to be careful about too much storytelling. But I couldn't disagree more on that. That song, Stand Alone, was extremely, it kept me super interested. I liked that you could tell there was a story going on. There was a theme. The music was just a bullet. It wasn't excessive. It was like well controlled, really nicely produced. Love the lick, love the rapid fire of it. Really, it's like that's a song that I could like hear on a compilation and say to myself, that's a band I want to go find out more about. So that is a big deal, because I promise you that I do not want to go back and check out a lot of bands, because I listen to so many bands. I mean, it's got to stick out for me to go, all right, yeah, something. It was like my friend who wrote and said that I'm hard to please. I am hard to please, because I hear a lot of mundane and just okayness out there. So you've got to kind of pull something off to make me go, yeah, that. So that was one of them, really, really good. And I also feel like the first couple tracks were very quote unquote, like I said, power metalish. It had that Hammerfall kind of feel thing. Gamma Ray and those kind of bands. But that, to me, that was a standard straight up metal, we're going to storm you, Knights of the Round Table thing. So anyway, I liked it. I thought it was really cool. I'm a little bit looking more forward to hearing what comes next, because I thought if I get to sit through 8 straight power metal songs, I'm going to just be done, be spent. Swinging a sword around that long kills me. So this next one's called The Incomplete. And listen, if you listen to the show, you know that when you have a title like that, I expect a lot out of it, because it sounds like something that was well thought out. And when something sounds well thought out, I expect there to be some thought behind it. And I got a feeling that there's going to be some good thought behind this one. It's a gross reality on the Soundcheck with The Incomplete. Not The End Complete, The Incomplete. That's Obituary, kids. Don't confuse.
You are listening to the Metal Moose.
Those walls, scarring, recurring, sanity is in
Yeah, so one of the things that I'm liking about this so far is, as piece by piece, I'm grabbing more of a concept kind of a vibe, and I don't know if that's necessarily true that there's a concept, but there's a definite working towards an emotion with the music, which is a huge deal to me. I like music that creates emotion, and it's just at first I was really kind of I don't want to say in a bad mood. I was just kind of like, power metal, but it's turned out to be more of what I call traditional power metal. If you guys know what that means, and I like the theme feeling of it. I love the production. The guitar work is really good. Everything's real tight. The vocal is really nice. It's not overdone. And it's one of those deals that if you listen to Soundcheck, you know that I say that there are a couple levels of bands. And one of those levels is bar band. And this is not bar band music. This is, if I rolled into the old metal club on Main Street, USA, and heard this band, I would be like, damn, wow, this is pretty good. I'm still hunting. I haven't anything bad to say yet. But at the same time, I don't have a whole lot of like wow factor yet. So I'm kind of, the strongest thing so far to me is the feelings that it's creating. It's got a really dark story tone to it. And I like that. The guitar work, like I said, is another big plus. And I like that the vocalist isn't just being stupid and trying to break glass. And it's a lot of good tempos. The songs change up really well. But at this time, though, I like the feeling, like I said, and the musicianship is really nice. But I have not been able to sink into a groove yet, which is something that I think is important in a full album flow. Now, listen, that may not be cool anymore. I don't know, kids to like just hear one song now because they download it on iTunes and they don't know what a whole album is. You know what I mean? But for me, I'm kind of missing that flow of the record. Other than there's that ongoing kind of, like I said, dark story feel kind of thing. It's not necessarily a story. It's just a emotional palette kind of a thing that I do like. It's very epic without being stupid, and trust me, there's some of that out there. But this is good epic so far. So coming up next is a song called "The Invitation" on Soundcheck with me, the Moose.
With the latest in high-octane Metal Moose. You've been weighed, you've been measured, you've been found wanting. Metal Moose. For the latest in high-octane Metal Moose. Visit them on Facebook at Metal Moose Radio for weekly podcasts and more up-to-date information and events. Metal Moose.
Hey everybody, this is Billy Polera from Electric Revolution, listening to Metal Moose. Rock and roll!
So listen, man, this is Soundcheck. It's a custom Soundcheck. My name is Moose, coming to you from Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, in the Moose Pit here. Is anybody else getting this storyboard kind of feeling thing going on here? It's not really an up and down record. There's this kind of monotone, real simplistic. Like I said, it's just like I'm being read pages. It's very story-esque. That feeling is just gray. It's just kind of desperate and gosh, I don't know. It's like working on me. Like I'm totally like getting into the mind frame. And I don't know if it's war. I've been trying to listen and figure out the words that are going on. If it's somebody, and I don't know. And they may not be any storyline. It's something I'm feeling through the music, and it's become a medium all of a sudden. I'm just kidding. I'm definitely a large. Trust me on that one. But I like it. I really do. I like the feeling is very, it's not happy. It's not like depressive either. It's kind of, like I said, it's desperate and kind of forlorn. You know what I mean? So the music is incredible. I mean, there's not a lick of anything that I haven't liked musically. The vocals, I think, are really just doing their job. They're not going out of the box anywhere. They're just kind of throwing it, like I said, in a very kind of storytell kind of way. And I don't even know, like I said, if this is a concept thing or not, but the overall vibe of it has that kind of deal to it. And I like it so far, which, in saying that, I'm kind of waiting for there to be a forte, at some point, or I'm looking for a crescendo, but I'm also looking for that drop down, go down a half step and give me, the real depression or whatever. But I'm looking for that crescendo and that forte, and I have a feeling it's coming soon. Could be this one on Soul Worn Thin. I doubt it. This doesn't seem like the crescendo, but maybe it is. It's Gross Reality on Soundcheck. I'm the Moose. Soul Worn Thin. Check it out.
The moose is loose.
Turkeys, the locks that slave me.
Yeah, I thought I'd call in and let you know what I think about the show, man. I tell you, it's real comical. You must be fucking delusional. You dumb damn Cheeto dust, man. What?
I mean, everybody's not a fan, but I mean, you called and left a message, right? So, yeah, so Soul Worn Thin there, that was like my favorite cut so far. There was a lot of good up-tempo, kind of a crescendo, I guess you could say, up away from that kind of gray tone that the album's had so far, which is, don't get me wrong, I love gray tone. I could listen to Catatonia all day long. But that kind of was the pickup of the, okay, here we go. This is, everything's been really good so far. I'm just kind of waiting for something to change a little bit. And that was the change I needed. It was really, like I said, I felt that emotion in the vocal. It went from desperate to, I'm excited. I don't know, like I said, if it's a story or not, but it had a good vibe to it that wasn't quite so, haunting, I guess. Really thought it was good musically. Another Rifle kind of a song. I liked it a lot. It was well placed as well, which is a kind of an important deal because, where you place your own songs on the record are kind of important. So, I know at least for me it is. Anyway, so I thought it was a cool tune. So far, I'm really impressed. This is the second custom show that I've done tonight, actually, in the studio. I've got another one to go, so it's going to be a long night. But both of them so far have been exceptional compared to what I had no idea what I was getting into, but they both have been really, really, really well done, and you guys should be proud of this. This is really not, this is something that I feel like you could play your girlfriend or a friend or something and go, yeah, this is my band, and be really proud of it. And trust me when I tell you right now, there's a lot of music that I get from people that I wouldn't dare play anybody and say that I was a part of it. That's like my show. I don't tell anybody that it's me. So, but anyway, yeah. Good stuff, man. As we keep going on here, moving on in the record, it's really so far. Like I said, I'm still looking for that wow moment. That last tune was my favorite cut so far, and such a good bright spot in the record itself. So I'm impressed so far. And look, who am I? Maybe not anybody, but I think that it's a record that people should pick up and check out. This is not your typical bar garbage. It's not. It's really well. I can see this doing well in the power metal realm. I don't know any other word for it. Traditional metal realm, but right now we're going to go into the vault on Soundcheck.
Hello there, grind children. This is the Grind Mother, and you are listening to the Metal Moose Show.
With no compasses, they plan to draw no good.
Moose.
So another example there of things really picking up and the mood kind of swinging on this record and starting a little bit slow and gaining momentum as it goes along, which is an interesting recipe. But it's a recipe that has been used a lot of times because what it usually does, and I haven't heard the final cut yet. I mean, a big deal about albums to me is how they're in order and what they say about the body of work as a whole, and how it places the emotions and all that kind of stuff. Somebody's listening to this right now going, "This guy is on crack," but I'm being serious. On the recipe of when you start out slow like that, is if you end on such a note that it leaves you wanting more. You want to know what's coming up the next time this band puts out a record. So they could either end it with a like a strong ballad, which they haven't really had on the record so far, which is, they don't have to. But it's kind of that I want to leave people breathless kind of a deal, while at the same time trying to stay melodic and use melody and vocals and textures and stuff, which they've done a really good job of. I'm kind of shocked from the first track to where I'm at now how this is run, because it's kind of rampant, but it has gone on an upward pace in not only tempo but just feeling of the music itself. And I liked that song had a lot of guitar wizardry. You've had some, and it's obvious in the kind of band that you're in that you're a good guitarist or good musicians. But that was fun. A little bit of let loose. I don't think you want to let that control the album or the song. It's not a shrapnel release, but it's I like it. Show us what you got. But yeah, man. So I wanted to just let you guys know that so far, man, I'm really digging on it. And so we'll see what we can come up here with the last song, "Escaping Gravity," here to end out the album, and then here after that, I will give you my full album report and all that fun stuff. So I don't even know if I've talked about tacos or church yet. We'll get into that as well after the last song here. Thanks to the guys from Gross Reality for sending this in and wanting to do this. If you have a band and you want to do this, it's $20. Yeah, so just get a hold of me and we'll make it happen, because I love doing this and I hope it's great for you guys. Truly.
Moose rocks Canada.
I like how it ended with this kind of Pink Floyd-esque tune. Like I said, it kind of falls in line with what I said previous to this song. It kind of leaves you in that what's coming up next mode, that cliffhanger mode. You know what I mean? Really impressive journey there. And that's a big deal. I will tell you that personally, it's not my favorite kind of music. This isn't kind of the stuff that I hunt to listen to. But no matter. As far as a whole package, I think it's really good in the emotional standpoint that you get invested in what's going on, and that's a big deal to me. The talent is so there. Everything was really well done. Production was nice. The vocals were nice. I love the guitar heroics. The musicianship was top notch. So my as a whole rating, I would give it, probably a 4.5 rating, as in really good. Is it my kind of thing? Not really. Is it something that I would go to somebody and say, do you want to hear an interesting piece of music? Yes. Would I wear the shirt? Absolutely. There was a lot of thought put into that. It wasn't just thrown together, which is also a big deal to me. I thought it was enjoyable, especially for a kind of music that I'm not really, really into. And I don't even know, the more I listen to it, it's kind of that Pink, I don't want to call it Hammerfall-esque power metal. It was more traditional power metal. Excuse me. And it was good, man. I liked it. So hope you guys enjoyed your sound check. And listen, if you happen to be in a band and you want to do a full album review, just get a hold of me on Facebook or text 424-666-7356 and we'll set it up and we'll make it happen. Once again, man, thanks to you guys for sending that in. Gross Reality. Awesome, man. Hope we can do it again. And until next time, guys, take care. This is Moose signing out of the Moose Pit.
All rights to the music heard on the Metal Moose are reserved by the authors, their labels, or authorized representatives that permitted their material to be used. The Metal Moose holds no rights to any music played on the show. Go to themetalmoose.com to submit your music to be heard on the show. Metal Moose accepts donations of money, Cheetos, bacon, and naked pictures. Thank you for tuning in and subscribe on iTunes. Rock out when you rack out, and consider yourself moosed.